mounts and such. Very good. Excellent. Alright, everything appears to be in order, so pretty happy about that. So I'm going to package it all up and stow it away for Friday when I got some time that I can get out to the shop and get this installed on the mill. Excellent. Okie dokie. So got my DRO. I was gonna do a little more videoing, but I got kind of carried away. So I've got this mounted already. This is just the head unit here. Pretty simple. Just drill and tap a couple bolts into the frame there. Comes with a little collet tray. Kind of limited space, but just what I need. And yeah, I think there's even a switch here that works somewhere. There we go. See if something happens. There we go. So I don't have the scales hooked up yet, but at least we have power. And it goes beep. See? Beep. Excellent. So let's take a look at the scales. So in this box was all of these things. Keeping those all packaged, but I've got the first one out here. This is the X. This is a little reader head thing, and it slides back and forth after you take the little brackets off. Everything seems to be okay. I had a slight bend in the end of one of the covers, but whatever. It's just a cover. So with it comes a bunch of blocks, shims, ties, a whole whack of screws, and I'll be doing a whole bunch of drilling and tapping yet tonight. These are all the brackets, the various different brackets for mounting in whatever configuration you may need. We'll see how well they work. So everything was packaged real well, and so far so good. So let's try getting this installed. Okay, so I got the X scale on. Here it is. No cover on there yet, but it's a little bit of an exercise in frustration, mostly because they don't really send the screws that you need. At least not for this. I had to sort of modify things through here. Drilled out the threads that were in there so I can mount straight through onto the saddle. These I got shimmed up. Didn't have enough shims there, so I had to make my own. But we got her dialed in pretty good. And when you hit the button, it counts up, it counts down. Appears to be doing what it should. So that's great. That took a few hours to do, so hopefully the next one will go a little quicker. But that won't be tonight. It's kind of late, so I'm going home, going to bed. Okay, next night working on this thing here. As you can see, I got numbers in the Y. I got the scale installed down here now. In this one here, it would have been nice to have had the, let's see, they like the little transducer thing fixed so that the cable's not swinging every time you move it. But on the Y-axis, that's generally not possible on here. So anyway, this one worked a little bit better. Of course, nothing's ever simple. With this bracket here, you got a little more adjustability. And my knee here has a very slight taper to it at either end, which necessitated cutting a little tapered block to fit in there. So I did that at each end, which you can see there. And that's got things running nice and straight and true. More true than the X-axis. The X-axis I found had a little bit of, the sucker wasn't straight is the issue there. Of course you'll never see the minute bit of deflection that's in there, but anyway, it seems to work fine, so I'm not worried about it. So next is the Z-axis. This one will be a lot more tricky because the edge of the knee, or the base there, is rounded, and I got a little oiling line in there to deal with. So I think I have a plan figured out. and I will attempt to do some. See how we make out. Okay, making a little more progress here. With the Z-axis, I got the lower mount done. So this was a little tricky. Nothing's ever easy, of course. That's what makes it fun. So drilling through here, of course, this is the coolant chamber in there. So I have to be very careful not to drill all the way through that, but still get enough threads to hold it. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I had to cut a taper through there because the column is, of course, tapered. 43 thou per inch, as it turns out, which up at the top equals 1.090 gap. So, good thing I have a milling machine. I cut myself a little spacer here. It's not quite thick enough, so I'll have to add the other 100 thou on the edge there. That'll slip in behind, space things out, taper, keep things square and straight. Very nice. So we're getting there, but it's a wee bit late. A little after 11, so I think it's time to go to bed and go home. So this will have to wait for another day. Catch you later. Okay, so I got numbers in all three directions. X, Y, and Z. Working great. The Z-axis I just finished up here. It was a little tricky, mostly because of clearance getting in at the bolts down there. Had to grab a couple nuts, which didn't come in the kit. Would be nice if they'd include a few. And once again, I had to taper that bracket to fit the taper of the knee. But it all worked out all right. Got that all trued up. Had to do the alignment in the front back, how it tips there. About 4 or 5 times before I finally got everything in there. Kept on having to disassemble to get clearance for things like the drill and such, but got her all in there. Overall, the install went pretty good. Pretty happy with things there. It's looking nice. Everything's working. That's the main part there. And now I've just got cleanup to do. Got to tidy up these cables and put the covers on.